All right, so we really got to talk about how completely and utterly out of hand the Trump regime is getting. They are so high on their own supply, and they are so used to getting away with shit that now they feel like they can get away with absolutely anything and everything. So Ben Meisalis of Midas Touch pointed this out, and I have to show you guys. This is a Trump email to his supporters the other night. Ready? It's Trump holding a bunch of money. It says, "This is the only tariff rebate email authorized by President Trump. I'm so sorry if you fell for the other scams out there, but I'm so grateful to have found you before it's too late. Ben, would you accept a tariff rebate check signed by Trump?" And then you could click yes or no. And then it says, "Would you accept a tariff rebate check signed by Trump?" Again, it's another poll here. You sign your name. And then it's donate before midnight. So you got to give $20 or $47 or $100 to stand with Trump, right? And so the idea is, the implication here is, if you send a donation to Trump now in this email, then you will be unlocking your ability to get a tariff rebate check. Completely and utterly disgusting, completely and utterly dishonest. These are the sorts of tactics we've seen him use time and time again. It's absolutely gross. There's been countless examples of these, Republican campaigns. They automatically sign up for repeated payments for old people. Like, they think they're donating once, but they really signed up to donate in perpetuity every month. And some of these people have dementia. They end up blowing all of their money, losing their entire bank account on these fucking scammy things that the Republicans do. I remember when Trump, when he did the whole Stop the Steal shit, he raised literally millions of dollars with the idea that we're going to use this to stay in power, and then a lot of that money fucking disappeared and they couldn't account for it. It probably went directly into the bank accounts of Trump and his billionaire cronies and his family members, right? He's done this time and time and time and time again. They stole from a fucking kids charity, bro. A kid's charity, and I think the money was supposed to go to cancer. He stole from a charity for our fucking veterans. He did a whole fundraising for the veterans, and then he took that money. This guy, he is loathsome. It is as loathsome as it gets. He's always been immensely dishonest. How many times did he stiff plumbers who worked on Trump hotels and casinos, electricians who did the same thing? He stiffed the guy who was the architect and built one of his golf club houses. He paid him the first half, never paid him the second half, and the guy said, if I took him to court, it would have cost so much money, I probably would have ended up losing more money, even if I won. So this is what this guy does. This is who he is, right? So it's just incredibly disgusting. This is on top of selling the $100,000 watches, which are just a massive fucking pay-to-play scheme where foreign billionaires can pay him money and he does favors for them. You got the whole scam at Mar-a-Lago where people come and pay him $1 million and he'll write a pardon for whoever the fuck you want. I mean, this is every single one of these things individually that I'm pointing out are enough to end somebody's presidency, to lead to impeachment or the 25th Amendment and eventual criminal charges. This is all disgusting. He violates the emoluments clause on a daily fucking basis. But I'm not done yet. How about this? Here's another example of a Trump scam that's completely and utterly out of control. Watch.
Hey, so did you see the news that NBC actually ordered one of those gold Trump phones back when they were first announced? They were supposed to get delivered in September. It's now November. No phone. But they actually, I guess, contacted the company. You have to actually do an email. They won't take phone calls. And they requested their money back, and they were told no. So that means the 590,000 people that each put down a $100 deposit. Yeah. You got fucked by Trump again. Dumb motherfuckers.
So literally just another example, like he purposefully targets his own people more than anybody else. He scams his own supporters more than anybody else because they're the rubes, they're the suckers. He knows if you support me, you're obviously not all there. I mean, think about he launched a scam crypto shitcoin 2 days before his inauguration. That's insane. Scamming his own people. Okay, so there's multiple examples of that, but it gets worse, because this shit also crosses over into official policy. So you've all heard the horror stories. Jared Kushner taking $2 billion from Saudi Arabia, and allegedly, in order to look out for his new benefactor, what did he do? He slipped classified information to MBS, which led to him consolidating power, locking up the people who were opposed to him. This is how the story goes. Why do you think MBS approved the $2 billion to Jared Kushner? $2 billion with a B. Even the Saudi government, they had insiders who said to MBS, don't give this guy $2 billion. What are you, crazy? He's not going to be a good investor with that money. Like, what are you talking about? He overruled them. Why? Because, again, there was a top secret deal. By the way, at the time Jamal Khashoggi was murdered, he was going to report on that exact thing. Jared Kushner, slipping classified information to MBS, and MBS giving Jared Kushner $2 billion. Insane, bro. Insane. So that was going on. And they are getting a percentage of the action on every front. Well, now, look at this from the Daily Beast. Trump's $2 trillion plan to cash in on Ukraine's peace leaks. At the center of President Trump's contentious plan to end the Russia-Ukraine war isn't peace, it's profit. Trump envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are negotiating with Russian officials to ensure U.S. businesses and Trump's friends are in a position to make a killing once the war ends, according to an exhaustive Wall Street Journal report published Friday. For Witkoff, Kushner, and the Russians, the goal is reportedly to revitalize Russia's $2 trillion economy through joint Russia-U.S. ventures. At the center of the talks is $300 billion in frozen Russian central bank assets that Russia wants to give to U.S. businesses for investment projects and U.S.-led reconstruction of Ukraine. So, in other words, the Russians knew, hey, these people are so fucking corrupt. We could probably get our way in Ukraine if we just make these people fucking rich. That's all. Just give them a shitload of money. Give them a piece of the action, and they'll fucking sell Ukraine out in a second. And that's exactly what happened. Trump proposed to Ukraine a 28-point peace plan, and it was directly from the Russian government. It was point for point what they wanted. Oh my God, dog. Okay, ready? More. The Wall Street Journal reports that the main focus of the U.S.-Russia peace talks is to get commercial advantage for American companies and personal benefits for individuals linked to the Trump administration. European officials are said to be shocked by the plans. So Steve Witkoff is such a fucking dumbass that he's communicating on these unencrypted devices. And so you have all these European intelligence agencies that are seeing exactly what Steve Witkoff is doing, and they're going, holy shit, this is the most corrupt thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. Why do you think it is that the Trump regime is trying to tell Ukraine not only to give up the land that Russia currently holds, but to give up even more land to Russia? Why? Because they don't give a fuck about Ukraine. They don't give a fuck about peace. They care about the profit. That's what matters to them, is the money. It's the profit. Here we go. According to the Wall Street Journal, talks between Trump's golfing friend Steve Witkoff, his son-in-law Jared Kushner, and Russian envoy Kirill Dmitriev have bypassed the U.S. national security and diplomatic apparatuses to focus on economic benefits for well-connected American companies. The paper reports that a cast of businessmen close to the Trump administration have been looking to position themselves as new economic links between the U.S. and Russia. Friends of the Trump family and Trump donors are working on lucrative deals with Russian companies. Anticipating the removal of U.S. sanctions, Gentry Beach, a Trump donor and college friend of Donald Trump Jr., has been in talks to acquire a 9.9% of an Arctic liquid national gas project with the Russian company Novatek. Other businessmen have been involved in similar talks. They include executives from ExxonMobil, mining companies, and investment funds, which have been offered stakes in Russian energy production, mines, and pipelines. Rare earth production has been a particular focus of interest, as well as gas concessions in the Sea of Okhotsk. The rest of the U.S. diplomatic and national security apparatuses, including the State Department and CIA, is said to have been kept in the dark. U.S. Treasury officials reportedly only learned about the details of Witkoff's meetings from their British counterparts. Trump's special envoy for Ukraine, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, reported to have been all but frozen out of serious talks and is leaving his post in January 2026. According to the Wall Street Journal, in the days after the Alaska peace talks in August 2025, a European intelligence agency distributed a hard copy report in manila envelopes to some of the continent's most senior national security officials who were shocked by the contents. These efforts have not yet been successful. The Alaska summit fell apart after Putin angered Trump by lecturing him on Russia's historic right to control Ukraine and ended without agreement. In October, Witkoff and Putin appear between them to have persuaded Trump to reject President Zelensky's plea to acquire Tomahawk cruise missiles and attack Russian refineries. Witkoff suggested that the Ukrainians should ask for a 10-year tariff exemption instead. This is crazy. Now, by the way, at the same time, they're selling out the Ukrainians for all these different business deals where they can make billions of dollars. Trump's billionaire cronies can make billions of dollars. Trump also had made a deal with the Ukrainians, which was basically an imperialistic colonizer deal where he made it so that the U.S. gets like half of all of their shit from now until the end of time. 50% of their ports, 50% of their fucking natural gas, 50% of all of their resources. So we imposed on them super fucking strict terms, which are worse than what you impose on people after they lose a war. They agree to that. And part of that agreement was, okay, we'll give you a shitload of what we're worth in return for endless support from the U.S., money and weapons to continue to defend themselves from the Russians. But no, they do that deal, and then Trump turns around fucking not even 6 months later, and he goes, and now also here's a 28-point plan directly from the Russians, give up more territory, agree to their terms, and oh yeah, we're going to make billions of dollars in our secret deals that we made behind the scenes with the Russians, our corrupt backroom deals. These people are insane criminals. And the way that they have decided to mesh together official government business and, global politics, they mesh together that with personal profit is fucking disgusting. And it's a primitive way of doing politics. It is like pre-Enlightenment, pre-Magna Carta, pre-international law. These are basically like, there's a mafia. It is a giant mob. It is a mafia. This is a mobocracy that we're looking at. And Trump is the Don, no pun intended, of the whole fucking world. And this is how they're calling the shots. And they're all just looking to get rich. They're all just looking to make money. And they don't give a fuck about anyone else or anything else. And so you got Kushner, you got Witkoff. They're completely in it for their wallet, for their bank account, for their portfolio. It's got nothing to do with peace. It's got nothing to do with stability. And at the same time, the same mindset that's leading them to do this is the same mindset that's leading them to try to illegally and offensively invade Venezuela, do regime change, and topple Maduro and put in a U.S. puppet. Because they also want to steal all of the oil from Venezuela and all the natural resources and the minerals from Venezuela, right? So everywhere you look, it is corruption, it is warmongering, it is fascism. And all of these people, especially Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, should be locked up immediately because this is treasonous shit that we're talking about here. That's the only way to describe it. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.